Hey y'all. So I have an order in for a tank top like this with a different team name. So I thought it would be good. I'm going to use several different methods in this. So I thought this would be a good one to have a video on. So the one that's on the screen is my inspiration image. So if you'll notice, it's got a distressed baseball on it. And then it's going to be layered with the words. And then on the back, I'm going to put in that open space right here, I'm going to put the team's logo on there. So this will be a front and back thing. All right, so let's get started. I like to create my own SVGs, so I am going to show you how I am going to create this one. So the first thing I want to do, this is going to be on a red shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and put the background of my canvas to red. So I'm going to go into this bottom right-hand corner where it says blank canvas and it's a white square rectangle. I'm going to click that. And up top, it's kind of hard to see, but there will be, the only thing visible will be a color. And then it has a box under it and it's white right now. It defaults to white. So with my hand over it, my mouse, it turns into a hand. I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to choose this red. All right, I don't want to work with the grid line, so I'm going over to this top left-hand corner where the ruler marks are, and I'm going to click that once, twice to get rid of the grid marks. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to create the baseball. So I'm going to do the shapes button and I'm going to do a circle. I'm going to go ahead and change this to white. So over by the operation where it has this gray square, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to make it white. This is going on a plus size shirt, so I want to make this as big as possible because it's also the focal point of the inspiration. So I'm just going to drag this to be the diameter circumference that I want. So I'm going to do 11.25. Okay. So there is the base of my baseball. So this is just the circle part. Now I need to add in the laces. So I have these saved. I've uploaded laces before. I've done a lot of baseball images. So I'm going to go up to, if I wanted to upload something, I would hit this upload button and upload the image and walk through those steps. But I've already uploaded this in the past. So I'm going to go to the images and I'm going to search in the images for baseball laces. Press enter. So it'll show you all the different, it's going to pick up the baseball keyword too. So I know that I've uploaded this in the past. So I'm going to go over to this ownership and I'm going to expand this menu by hitting on the plus side. And I'm going to click the uploaded button because this is something that I've uploaded. I have a couple different options here. I do have this one that's already put together, but I want to space it how I want it. So I'm going to upload just the single lace. So I click on it till it has this green box around it. And then I'm going to do insert image. Okay, I'm going to drag it to where I see it. I can see it. And I'm going to make this bigger by grabbing these this bottom right hand corner of the two arrows and dragging that so it is the correct correct size to fit inside my baseball. So I made it the correct size and I've placed it where I want it. So now what I want to do, since it is a red shirt that it's going on, I don't necessarily have to layer in another red color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this out of it. So I have it placed where I want it. I'm going to go in the top left-hand corner of my design and I am going to draw an imaginary box. And by doing that, I am pressing down the left arrow and holding it down as I draw a box to capture both layers. So you'll see over on the right-hand side that there are two layers selected, and you can tell that by that they're both grayed out. You can only do slice when there are two objects. So if it's something like, say I did the other laces that were already put together, I would have to weld the laces as in one image, and then I could do it. But I couldn't do it how it was because it's technically three different layers. So now that I have this selected, I'm going to go to this bottom right-hand corner, and I'm going to click the option that says slice. And what this is doing is it's slicing the laces out of the white circle. So now that I've done that, I'm going to click on the laces, and I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. And it gets rid of that, the red laces. Then I'm going to click on it again, and this is capturing the whole circle shape. So I'm just going to move this out of the way so that I can delete. This is the white part that it deleted out of my baseball. Okay, since I already, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this red because I need to do the other lace. So I'm going to change this to red. And then, so you'll notice that it goes behind the baseball shape. So what I want to do is I want to change the arrangement of here. There's a couple different ways to do that. You could do it up here and change it, arrange it to there. So you would send it to front, or how I do it is I right click and I go send to front. So now it's going to be in the front layer of it. So in this baseball image, let me pull it up again. You'll notice that, well, of course, the laces are facing downward instead of upward. And then the laces themselves are facing the opposite direction of the ones up here. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit flip, and I'm going to flip it vertical. So that way it's pointing downwards. Okay, so now you can see that the laces are still going in the same direction. So I need to flip this horizontally as well. So I'm going to go back to flip, and I'm going to do flip horizontal. So now, like a true baseball, it is the laces are facing in opposite directions. So I'm going to place this where I want it. Say about right there. And I'm going to draw the imaginary box. And once again, I'm pressing the left button on my mouse, holding it down as I drag it around so it captures both layers. So if you'll notice right now, it's actually my slice option is grayed out, and that's because there's actually three different layers selected. So what I need to do is, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is just a random thing. So I want to get rid of that. So now there's two layers. So I'm going to do my imaginary box again. And now I can go down and I can hit slice. So then I'm going to get rid of this, the red laces, and then I'll go ahead and get rid of the white laces as well. All right, so there's my baseball shape. So, but if you notice on the picture, it is a distressed baseball. So now I'm going to add the distressing effect to it. Now I already have a distressed texture uploaded into my design space because I've used it before. But if I wanted to grab one, all I would have to do is go to Google and type in distress texture or something along those lines, go to the images,
find one you like, right click to save it as an image, save it to wherever you want to on your computer where you'll be able to find it. And then you'll go and upload it into Design Space. But like I said, I already have one in here. So I'm just going to go to the images option and I'm going to type in distressed. All right, so these are the ones that I've uploaded. There's also some that the distressed ribbons that are part of the access that I'm a member of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the distressed pattern that I like the best. I'm going to choose this last one. So I'm going to click on it till this green box shows around it, showing that's what's selected. And then you'll also see it down here. You'll see what you've selected. So I'm going to do insert image. Okay, so now here's my distressed pattern. Now I need to make it so that it covers the entire baseball. So I'm going to drag it and make the box bigger so that it will fit the baseball. And I'm going to place it where I think I'll get the most bang for my buck for the distressing. So I'm just going to make it bigger at first. And then I want it to be heavily distressed on one side. So I'm just going to place this where I want it. And then once again, I'm going to draw my box. This time I'll go from the top right-hand corner. It doesn't matter which direction you draw your imaginary box from, as long as it selects both layers. So once again, over in the layers panel, you can tell that I have 2 layers selected. So I'm going to hit slice. Okay. So now I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this black layer that it cut out of the white. And then I'm going to take the white part that it took out of the baseball and I'm going to exit out of that as well. So now I'm left with just a distressed baseball. So now I'm going to do the text. So this is going to be for the team name is called the Bombers. Okay, Bombers, and then underneath it, it said baseball. And I'm going to do this in all capitals. So I think that's the way that they had it. Yeah. Okay. So I know that this font in this picture is one of the sports fonts, and I'm pretty sure that's called Academy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that. I selected the text box that I want to change the text on, and I went to the font underneath where it says Cricut Sans. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to type in Academy. It's either Academy or Freshman. We'll do this Academy Filled 3D. Oh, no, that's not the one I want. I want just the basic one. So it doesn't look like that's the correct font. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to do Freshman. Freshman. Okay, I think this is it. So I'm going to select that. Okay, that's perfect. That's what I want it to be. In my inspiration, it almost covers all of, oh, well, not really. It's centered on the baseball itself. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I don't want it too big because I want the Bombers to be the focal point. So I think that's a good size. So that's going to be 8 inches. So I want to make sure that this is centered. So I'm going to draw my imaginary box like I normally do and select. So both of these layers are selected. I'm not going to worry about the Bombers right now. And then I'm going to go up here to the line button and I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to do center horizontally. Okay, I did it dead center, but if it were like this, for example, and then I go to align, center horizontally, it puts it in the direct center of the baseball. So, okay, that's good. Now I need to do the bombers. Well, I want to pick out a font for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a website that I use. This website will only work if you've downloaded fonts outside of the Design Space ones. So these are ones from like the fontbundles.com, Creative Fabrica. I have all these listed in the announcements tab of favorite resources on my Cricut class page on Facebook. So this is because this program that I'm going to show you, or website, it pulls, it gives you examples from all of the fonts that you have installed on your system. So I'm going to do Google Chrome, new window. All right, and the name of this is called wordmark.it. Okay, so now I'm going to type in bombers because I want to see all my fonts that I have on my system with this text. Okay, so now these are all the fonts that I've downloaded throughout the years, months, days, whenever, that are on my system. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to grab some ones that I like. So let's see. This one, it's just a regular script font. So let's just find a script font that we like. Ooh, but I really like this, Aloha Summer. All right. Let's choose this one. I'm going to do this really quick, so I'm not, the whole video is not of me trying to make up my mind on this. All right, so we'll do this one. I'm just picking ones at random at this point. I like that one. I like that one. All right, so now that I have a few selected, I'm going to go up to this top right-hand corner where it says filter selected fonts. And then it's going to show you on the next page all the different fonts that you chose. So this way you can narrow down your choices. Or if you're working on this for something else, you can grab a screenshot and send it to them and have them pick their favorite font. So just for purposes right now, I'm just going to do this billion font. So I'm going to go back to Design Space, make sure the bombers is selected, and then the font, I'm going to type in billions. Or was it just billion? Okay, there it is. So I'm going to select that. All right, I'm going to make this bigger, and just like most other fonts in Design Space, it does this wacky placement, spacing for the letters. So there are two different ways that you can change this. You can up in this letter spacing, you can hit the down arrow to bring them closer together. But in my experience, most of the time, it'll be like this, where it's not in, it's too close to two letters and then further apart for others. So I'm going to manually move these. So I'm going to click on the font, make sure that text box is clicked, and I'm going to go up here at the layers tab into to where it says ungroup. So now you'll notice each letter is its own separate entity. So I can mess around with the placement. So really everything looks pretty good. I'm going to move this E a little bit closer, and then this R. The S doesn't look like, well, I guess it could connect right there. And then I just need to move this B over. Maybe a little bit closer. So just play with it until you like the way it looks. Now, since it's a script font, always, always, always weld the font. If you don't weld, and welding makes a bunch of different little shapes into one solid shape, so that when you are going to cut it with your Cricut, it's not cutting each individual letters, because if it did, you would see the tails cut out of the letters beside it. So you don't want that. You want the Cricut to connect everything in one, to cut it in one solid cut. So I'm going to draw my imaginary box. Make sure all the letters are selected, but only the letters. Yeah, see, that's grabbing that as well. Let me zoom out right here. And let's see if I can grab just the bottom. Okay, there we go. Oh, nope. Undo. All right, let's see if I can just grab the letters again. Okay, so now I'm going to click weld. So now, if you notice up in the layers panel, it's changed this to all these different individual letters to one word. So this is going to be the bomber. So now let's move this and make this the size that we want for the baseball. Okay, so I can tell you right now that this font is not going to work, but for purposes of this video, we're just going to say that it does. So what I did right here is I hit the little lock button, and that unlocks it, and then it locks it back up. Unlocking it is changing it. So if you'll notice, this right over here, the directional arrows, has always been just two directions. But since I clicked the unlock, I can change the proportions of the separate dimensions of the word until I like the way it looks. So not only can I move it this way, but I can make it shorter. So we'll just do it. I like that. Let's do about right there. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to drag it out just a little bit. Right. And then I don't want it, the B and bombers, to touch the baseball. So I'm going to do that. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and select all of it. And I'm going to do align, center horizontally. Okay. I did it the right way again. So there you go. Here is the front of the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. So I'm going to do save. And this is going to be bombers tank. And then I have all these different collections that I categorize things. So this is a shirt. And I know that I do a lot of things for bombers for one of my friends that her nephew plays on the Bombers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to name this Bombers Baseball. So that way I can, if I want to pull up a new project and I want to find this certain one, or I want to find all the projects with the Bombers logo on it, I will be able to find it like this. So I'm just going to, now that I have shirts selected and then I added the Bombers baseball, I'm going to do save. Okay, so that is saving. It's taking a second. Okay, so that's saved. So nothing can happen to it now. All right, next we're going to do the back of the shirt. So I like the sizing of all this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group this together. And then I'm going to hide it so I can work on the back. So I grouped this all together, and then I'm going to click this little I button and it'll hide it so I can design the back. I'm going to go to images and I'm going to type in bombers. Okay, this is their logo. So I'm going to, let's see, let's select this one. Insert the image. All right, now I need to measure the size that I want this. So I'm going to grab the shirt and I'm going to measure the back where I want to place it. This is going to be interesting since it's pleated down at the bottom. So if you can tell, I'm going to do it on this section right here, because this is pleated right here, so I wouldn't be able to get the image on correctly, or it just wouldn't work. So I'm going to measure this spot right here. And I always have a sewing retractable measuring tape. So it's 5 inches across and about 4 inches tall. So I don't want it, so let's say I want to make it, it's going to be wider than it is tall because that's the way this is set up. So I said 5 inches wide. Let's go ahead and let's make this 4 inches. So that'll give a 1/2 inch on either side. All right, since I know the exact measurement, I can go up here and instead of dragging it to resize it, I can go up to the size up here and the width. I can just go ahead and type in 4. And then I hit tab and it'll automatically change the size so that the dimension is the same. So this is roundabout about 2.5 inches tall, how it is. And I think that's going to be pretty much perfect. So I'm going to leave this as is. Okay, so now, since this is a red shirt, oh, this is set as print then cut. All right, we're going to exit out of that, pretend that didn't happen. Because, oh, I could do print and cut. Let's just do that. That's easier. All right. I'm going to just hit undo then. All right, so we're going to do print then cut. So I'm just going to hit this undo button. All right, so now that's all I have to do for that, because it will print it on my computer and then print it on my printer on my what is it called, printable vinyl, and then I can cut it with my Cricut. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do all this, and then I'll come back when it's time to assemble. Okay, so now once I'm ready to make it, I'm going to go up to this top right-hand corner where it says make it. And so this is the print then cut screen that comes up. So since it's a red shirt, I'm going to be using the printable iron-on for dark colors. So for dark colors, you treat it like iron-on vinyl and you will mirror it. If it were the one for light colors, it goes on, it does not get mirrored because you peel the backing off and place it that way. Whereas the printable iron-on for dark, you treat it like the backing as your transfer sheet, and you place it face down. So I'm going to show you this process, this quick printing process for print then cut. So I'm going to click continue and do send to printer. Okay, now when you're in this screen, so this is, you're going to choose which printer you want to use. I'm going to use my Office Jet, one copy, and then this option, add bleed. Make sure this is turned on. It will look fuzzy when you print it, but that is for a good reason. All the edges will be a little bit fuzzy, and that's so when your Cricut cuts it, if it cuts it just a little bit off the line, you're not going to have this white space. You will have, like, for instance, on this will be right here, there will be a bleed of red. So if when the Cricut cuts it, even if it cuts it a little bit off, it will still look right because the red is there. So you always want the bleed on. Use system dialog if you want this on. This is so you can mess with the settings and make sure it's set to the highest quality prints and things like that. Now, when you do this, it's going to show up. It's not going to pop up in front of the screen. And it does give you this little warning. It says, after clicking print, your print dialog may appear behind your design space application. And in my experience, it always does. So let's go ahead and hit print. All right, so it's doing its spinning thing. So I'm going to go and I'm going to minimize design space and see if it's there. Yes. Okay, it is there. So what I'm going to do is I set it to the right printer. The presets are is color, and it's the fine detail. Copies 1. All right, so that looks good. So I'm going to press print and print that out. And then once that's printed and the other part, the iron on, once it's printed, I'll come back on and show you the process of actually getting your Cricut to cut it.